Friday Night Funkin Neo, one of the most popular overhauls for FNF of all time, has recently been updated with a full revamp, as well as a story. It seems there is now more meaning to it all, the mod originally just having the sick remixes. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at the lore of Neo to try and understand what is going on. I think the main character involved is pretty clear. If you happen to enjoy today's video, consider leaving a like and subscribing. And with that, let's get started. Our story begins in week 1, where Boyfriend has a battle with the one and only Daddy Dearest. We learnt from the tutorial that he gives out opportunities for those he deems worthy, basically people who can beat him or at least put on a show. Boyfriend is pretty cocky throughout week 1's dialogue, and for good reason. He takes down Daddy Dearest with ease, despite him saying nobody has ever outshined him at his best. Daddy Dearest reluctantly gives Boyfriend a gig at the Raveyard with the Spookies for his victory. But then, suddenly, he calls someone on his phone informing them that Boyfriend is on the way, telling them to have someone on standby. This mysterious someone just says, "Wonderful." Something tells me that Daddy Dearest might have gone easy on him on purpose. In week 2, Boyfriend has arrived at the Raveyard to battle the Spookies. He asks some kids for help finding them, only to discover the kids are the Spookies. The three of them start arguing when suddenly Pump appears to be influenced by a red glow into reminding Skid of the rap battle, and so the show starts. After the second song, Skid and Pump are pretty annoyed, when suddenly there is a crash. The spooky kids make a run for it as the monster arrives to take over. He says this will be the last time Boyfriend will see anyone else, as he wouldn't want him experiencing a burden he has carried for 7 years. Strange introduction after crashing a party, I must say. The monster's song itself is really quite interesting. I would talk about the lyrics now, but I feel like we need to get through all the other details first, as both of his songs are a lot more meaningful to the story itself than you may think. So, Boyfriend and Girlfriend escape the monster and are now outside the Raveyard in an alleyway. They encounter Pico, who we know from the Funkin' Forward trailers is part of the gang hunting down Boyfriend, their leader being the monster. This would mean that Daddy Dearest was contacting the monster in week 1, and the monster put Pico on standby in the alleyway, in the event that Boyfriend escaped. After the first song, Pico is mad that Boyfriend is suddenly doing so well in comparison to his battle with the spooky kids. This means that the monster's gang was watching on from the very beginning in the crowd. Then, by the third song, Pico is just sick of it. He wants Boyfriend to accept his fate, but Boyfriend is having none of it, pointing out the reasons why he wouldn't want to go. After Blamed, Pico starts breaking down. He goes on and on to the point where his dialogue goes off screen. He then threatens to kill Boyfriend again, only for Witty to suddenly jump in, pointing out that they need Boyfriend alive, saying they will get him later on. Anyways, Mummy Mirist shows up very suddenly, asking Boyfriend to duet with her. He agrees, but he didn't know that they would be 34,710 feet up in the air. By the end of week 4, Mummy Mirist invites Boyfriend and Girlfriend to a party with the biggest faces in all of Neo City, and so they make their way there. Other than that, nothing of note really happens in week 4, so we can actually get right on to week 5, the party. Now, here at the party, there is a bunch of people, notably Garcello, who is actually getting his own Neo week, Hex, and Matt. However, for some reason, Be Free and Soft Boyfriend are also there. This likely seemed confusing to some of you, but the reason for this is because, canonically, Neo, Be Free, and Soft Boyfriend are best pals, so yeah. Above all these main characters in the front, I think it's more important to point out the outlines in the buildings in the background. We can see the monster and his whole gang watching on, as if waiting to strike. Well, they were. In Eggnog, the screen suddenly cuts to black, and we hear the monster laughing. As the world fades back in, it's different. Similar to week 2, everything is corrupted and creepy. The parents' faces have realistic eyes, and their faces deform to show other strange faces when they sing. Boyfriend finally passes out from all the pressure as the monster greets him once more.
Why, hello there.
Now, onto the last song of the mod, Hallucination. Boyfriend yells out, confused as to where everyone has gone. The monster tells him not to worry about it, but Boyfriend doesn't agree. Monster professes to Boyfriend that he wants to protect him, but Boyfriend isn't buying it. Still, Monster goes on saying that there is danger in Boyfriend's near future, saying, "You don't want to end up like me, right, son?" Wait, son? Boyfriend points out how ridiculous that sounds, and Monster mocks him for this foolishness. After Hallucination, it is made clear that the monster is Boyfriend's father, through the line, "just doing my fatherly duties." This opens up the lore as a whole to be further analysed, so let's do that now. So, what do we know about the monster now? Well, he created these freaky looking scenes in weeks 2 and 5, he is Boyfriend's supposed father, and he leads a gang in Neo City that is currently dedicated to hunting down Boyfriend, a task that they successfully accomplished in one night. But how did he cause these strange corruptions of both the world around him and people? What is his motive for hunting down Boyfriend if he is his father? Heck, how is he his father in the first place? Let's break this down. Firstly, the strange corruption abilities. Now, you may believe that the corruption mod in Neo exists in the same universe, and the monster is simply corrupted and spreading it. But really, Monster's ability to cause this corruption isn't what you may think. You might have already grasped what it actually is through the monster's song names as well as his lyrics. Illusion and Hallucination basically outright tell us that, well, Boyfriend's head is simply being messed with, and none of what is seen is actually real. This is confirmed by a tweet from the creator of Neo, Jellyfish, replying to someone theorizing about it. So, the monster has the ability to influence someone's perception of reality. This sounds quite familiar. You see, Ninja Muffin once confirmed that the monster from the actual Friday Night Funkin can do the exact same thing, which is why Winter Horrorland has a disturbing scene, with Girlfriend's head atop the tree. Okay, but why corruption? Well, Phantom Fear, the creator of the corruption mod, actually works on Neo if I'm not mistaken, so the choice was probably made to implement a corruption theme alongside the monster. Don't forget though, the corruption and Neo universes are not linked regardless of this. So, that's that out of the way, now I want to figure out the monster's motive for hunting down Boyfriend. You could say it's simply because he is his father, but I think there is more to it. Let's start with Illusion's lyrics. The first line really stands out to me. I almost disregarded it without thinking, which would have been a big mistake. He says, "Well, look at this, all the children in one place now." Children, huh? So not his one child, Boyfriend. Well, who else is present in week 2? The spooky kids, of course. You could say that Skid and Pump must also be his kids, but that's a little bit ridiculous at that point. I think he says children as Boyfriend is his child and Skid and Pump is simply, well, children. But why would he want the 3 of them there and not just Boyfriend? The whole thing was obviously organised as Daddy Dearest told Monster Boyfriend was on the way. Speaking of, it's likely that the monster simply told Daddy Dearest that he would get rid of Boyfriend for him, and he has no clue about the father stuff and simply wants him gone. Back on topic though, let's say Skid and Pump are also the monster's children, and that's why that specific phrasing is used in Illusion. Well, the only way we could have proof of this is if we see the 2 of them again in an upcoming week, as they would also be captured by the monster. This is actually plausible in my opinion, as Boyfriend and Girlfriend encounter Pico and Widdy after escaping the graveyard, but the rest of the monster's gang is missing, perhaps hunting down Skid and Pump. Anyways, one of his next lines is, "For I drop by to lay your careers to waste now," followed by, "Tear you apart, rip out your music's heart, and rip out all your real hearts too." It seems Monster despises the musical nature of basically everything in Neo City, having the intent to end Boyfriend and the spooky kids' careers. You could say this is simply to protect them, as that is what he professes his motive is. However, his next line, "This world's grown so toothless and tame, it's replacing the monster who made an art of killing," makes me think that Neo City was once much more violent in nature and changed somehow. Perhaps with the incident that the monster refers to from 7 years ago, that turned him into whatever he is now. I have to switch over to talking about Hallucination now, as the last few lyrics in Illusion actually link to Week 5 events, so I'll bring up Illusion again soon. Okay, so in Hallucination, the majority of the lyrics are simply enticing boyfriend to go to sleep, obviously so Monster can take him away. There is one thing that stood out though. Fighting to stay awake, not the wisest choice, my friend. You can have the sweetest little dreams or face the foes plotting your end. Listen, there they are lurking. Okay, so I found this incredibly confusing at first until I realized something. The monster tells boyfriend to listen instead of telling him to look around him like he did at the start of the song. What do we hear throughout the song occasionally? That's right, the sound of a gun being loaded. I feel like we are missing a detail from boyfriend's past where gun noises would be something the monster would use against him. Monster then offers protection against these mysterious foes in order to again entice boyfriend to come with him. Now, to be completely honest with you, I don't really know who these foes are. We barely know anything about Neo boyfriend's past due to all the events in Neo taking place in one night. So I'm not going to theorize about these foes particularly, as let's be honest, there's been enough uncertainty in this video already. It could simply mean the monster's gang, so let's leave it at that. Okay, let's get back to Illusion now that we've gone over Hallucination. The line, "they'll know my name when their heartbeat's stilling," is either really clever, or I've simply misunderstood it. When boyfriend is about to pass out after Hallucination, that's when we discover he is boyfriend's father. So basically, when boyfriend was falling asleep, when his heartbeat was stilling, we discovered the truth. Does that make sense? Anyways, let's move on to the final important thing in Illusion, the final line. But don't you worry, won't see your end coming when your eyes are mine. My original interpretation of this was that the monster taking boyfriend's eyes would mean corrupting him, as a common theme with corruption is the X and O eyes. However, corruption doesn't truly exist in Neo, it's only an illusion, so boyfriend can't actually be corrupted. Well, if it isn't the corrupted eyes, what is it then? How can you make someone's eyes truly yours? How can you make them see the world around you the way you want them to? Prevent them from seeing their oncoming demise. After being captured by the monster, boyfriend was taken to the monster's base. This is where he is put into the simulation where Week 6 will likely take place. Monster will likely have control over what is happening in this simulated world, therefore he can make boyfriend see things differently. Anyways, as you may or may not know, Neo Senpai does not have a pixelated appearance, rather he is the same as everyone else. In the teaser for his sprites, we see that in Rose's he has a knife, so boyfriend is likely going to be in some kind of danger whilst in the simulation, despite Monster constantly saying all he wants to do is protect him. Well, if boyfriend survives, he will reach Week 7. Neo Tankman is a character we have seen in both Neo trailers and the mod itself. Teasers for his animations are also available, similar to Senpai, so we know for certain that we'll be facing off with him. This likely means that boyfriend will escape from the simulation and will face off with Tankman whilst trying to get out of the monster's base. I have two possible predictions for the outcome of Week 7, one being good and the other being pretty awful. My first theory is based around Pico and Witty. In Week 3, Pico seems to really not be fond of what he is doing in Neo City, having the previously mentioned complete breakdown. He is calmed down by Witty pretty easily, this being because Pico is dating Witty canonically as seen in this tweet, and is also trans as a little side fact, just so you know. The point is, the two of them are pretty close. Anyways, at the end of Week 5, Witty seems sad as they haul off boyfriend. It's almost as if he isn't too happy about the whole situation. So where am I going with this? I think Pico might save Boyfriend alongside Witty to put an end to the monster, the two of them finally having enough of being on the bad side of things. Certainly a possibility. Before I move on to my second theory, I should mention that Witty is actually being removed from Neo. Similar to how his own mod was removed, as the creator of Witty no longer wishes for him to be featured in Friday Night Funkin. However, this does not cause any problems, as the character replacing Witty will have the exact same relationship with Pico, and will probably act the same way in the end of week 5 cutscene. So yeah, no issues there. Now, my second theory. This one does not have a nice outcome for Boyfriend. I'll just cut through the chase. Neo Boyfriend dies. Hear me out, okay? If nobody saves Boyfriend in week 7 as he faces off with Tankman, what is he meant to do? Singing with Tankman just allows for the rest of Monster's gang to make their way over by the third song. I reckon that in the third song, the monster, despite Boyfriend being his son, will finish the job and take him out. I feel as if the monster wants complete control over Boyfriend, and if he can't have that, well, he's just gonna get rid of him. The line from Illusion, "But don't you worry, won't see your end coming when your eyes are mine," crazily enough, actually backs this up. Think about it. Boyfriend's eyes were taken by Monster, not literally, it was obviously the simulation. If he breaks free from the simulation, he will expect freedom, but will be met with his demise instead. Well, that's about it I think. Thanks for watching today's video, I hope you enjoyed it. Also, thanks for the support on Versus Imposter Explained. It's now my most popular video, which is crazy. Sorry there was such a long gap between that video and this one though. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Alright, bye now.